Okay, here we go. Let's come all hard on the chart. We're going to jump right into it, guys. Today was a another mixed day in the market. A lot's going on with global economies and stuff, so definitely got to be careful on how you approach these trades. So let's bump up to about 614, and I'll go bar by bar. So to start it off, we can see this big downward move, right? So we have a down move, a breakout, a couple legs down, and then I'm also going to draw off of, you know what, that didn't even break higher, so I'm not too pressed to do that. So let's just use that as a breakout, and then let's get a another line over here for our next micro trend. Okay, so we had a breakout, move up. We made a matching high to that double top over here, but we didn't break above, so we should just be on guard. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we started moving down. So at this point, let's just be on the lookout for a micro trend, something like there. This is about the open right here. So this was 630 on this bar. So this is our open. See, we have these bars inside of this one. This one is, well, this bar is inside of there. This bar is inside of there. That's going to be our micro congestion. So let's just draw our line so we can keep that in mind as we keep trading this market. Okay. I'm going to minimize this one just to make it a little easier to see. Okay, cool. Cool. So you can kind of see where we are for the day. There's a low here, pullback, but it doesn't really break higher until here, and a low there. But we're inside of this little congestion, so I want to be pretty careful about taking any shorts or any longs. We get this really nice reversal bar, but we're gonna have to break out of this congestion to take it, and we have a double bottom not that far away. A little bit aggressive to take that trade, and it reverses on the next bar. I think there's another big reversal on this bar. If you would have taken this trade, you would have scalped out on this bar. So it'd be incredibly aggressive to take it. I suggest just skipping it. But if you saw that and you want to take the risk, you could have gotten away with that. But I'd be very careful. Okay, so then if you look at that, we have this micro trend, a breakout, and a move to a new low. So let's be on guard. Let's be careful. Okay, big green bar, so a down up pattern we got going on. And down up. Okay, so same thing. This bar is inside of this bar, which is inside of this bar. Let's just expand that congestion area. So let's go ahead and just make it accommodate all of these up in here. So let's do something more like this. Cool. So again, let's be careful about going short, and let's be careful about going long. Let's only take trades at our lines if we get the right setup. So got a little breakout, turn down. So like I said, we're going to ignore this because there's not enough room from there to our bottoms. See, it doesn't even go far. It would have ticked you out. This one's a tricky one. You might take this trade. I'll tell you now that it doesn't work. So actually, instead of giving that an arrow, because this is something this is in our pattern, but it fails. So let's just circle that and just say that, it's hard to say exactly why this failed. We're at the highs. It's a second entry short. right? From this low, second entry short, you would expect it to at least come down to there. It doesn't. So not too much you can do about that except just um, put your stop where it's supposed to go and let it take you out. Another quick thing to note about this is that because we had this micro trend, a breakout, and a new low, we needed to be a little more careful about taking shorts. And now that we have this low here, it moved higher, came down, moved higher, and then came down, and then when this bar closed, that's a failed second entry short. So this is a reversal pattern between all these bars and a breakout pullback long. So if you're seeing it like that, you would have a reason to go long right there. It's a little aggressive, and you would have your scalp target, and then of course maybe a target up here at this double top. So that's just something that if you saw it, you could get out of this short trade a little sooner, because that's definitely a reversal pattern. And if not, you just put your stop where it goes and just deal with that. So let's see if we can get a trend. I don't really want to put it here, but let's just see if we get a nice trend from here. Okay. Something like that. Okay, cool. And that one seems to work pretty well. So if you look at the price action since about 2 o'clock this morning, we're not consistently above it. We're not consistently below it. In fact, we're kind of on both sides. That's a sign that, this is kind of a ranging market and we need to be a little careful. And so in order to accommodate for that, we can draw our line up here. We can even move it up a little bit. And then we can draw another line. I'd say down there at these lows. Something like there. And let's just use that as our guide so we know where we want to be getting short and where we would want to be getting long. So let's just do dash, do 5. Okay. And then see right there, right? This bar is inside of that bar, which is inside of that bar, which is inside of that bar. So there's another congestion area. So right now on the day, I mean, this is some pretty messy price action. I'd be very careful trading this. So we have another piece of congestion there. And I'm actually going to bring it all the way down just because this bar kind of starts our congestion. And you notice how we have this micro trend and we're at the other side of this micro trend. So you might expect prices to pull back to this side of the line or this lower congestion line. But none of these are trades I want to take. I'm just waiting for the right setup. It keeps going higher. Okay, we're finally to our line. So let's see how price action responds to this line. See if we get a good setup off of it. This trade right here, that's not what we're looking for. See how prices are moving higher? Let's wait and see if we get a lower high, and then we can go ahead and take that trade. What I'm going to do here as well is see if this line fits better up here at all. And I think it does. Yeah, it comes off of there, kind of nice. Yeah, so let's use this line now. Something like there. And then take that off. Then flip that there. Okay, so you can see now we have this little uptrend kind of going. So let's see how this trend plays out. We know we're in a range. But let's be respectful of this channel and let this channel play out before we are too bearish and looking for a short. That one goes a little higher. I like how it's holding here off the top. That's pretty good. And to be honest, there are not that many great trades right now, so we're just being patient. It's only 6:53, so you've probably been at the charts for 30 minutes or so, but we're just not really getting great setups today. And that's just where the patience as a trader, you just need to sit on your hands until you get what you're looking for. Okay, we're finally back at our lower line. Let's see if this holds or pulls back. Okay, we got this little bar. Oh, and then we got another lower bar. So right here, we started above our EMA. Now we're below the EMA. We made a lower low than the previous swing low. Let's give that a micro trend. And this is what you tend to expect in a range like this, is that prices are going to just turn on a dime without retesting the highs. So you just really just need to wait. Just wait. Especially on a day like this, if you're having a hard time waiting, just walk away. If you come back later in the week or tomorrow, you'll be surprised. It'll be the perfect trade, and you can save yourself a lot of frustration having to fight through all of the noise on a day like today. See how that just shot down without you. And this trade, it's a lower high, but see how this bar inside of this one, that's a congestion area. I'm not going to draw the line. I think by now we get the idea, but let's not sell the breakout up there. And this pattern right here, this red, green, red, that is a technical trading pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the distance from there to there, and then put that back over here. And you can see our measured move. If we have 2 legs down, it's just going to be just beyond this point. So no real rush to get short. We got a higher low there. Okay. So this is something that I didn't notice exactly in the moment, but when I did my review, I started to notice. See how we have this low? We have a higher low, a higher low. Look at this high. We have a higher high. It's kind of giving us a little bit of an uptrend. Just a little. And if you would have put your line there, see how it bounced off all 3 of those spots? That makes it a confirmed trend line. And if you move it onto the top, it's not a perfect fit. Maybe off of here it's a little better. But let's just put it off of that most recent high. You can see now we have kind of a upward trend channel. It's not very steep. I'd say this is actually very weak, right? The strongest trends are like gonna just go up, straight up. When a trend is going up, then it trends down, then it trends up. That's actually a weakish trend. So keeping that in mind, I would go long there. Just off the strength of the higher low, right? We have this low, tried to go lower, turned. We're a little bit far away from the EMA. We're bouncing off this line now. The only reason that I don't like it is we're just in the middle of this range from the pre-market, right? But especially when I see ranges that are bouncing at different levels, like here on the lows, they bounced 2 places and then off the highs. This one kind of went a little further. When I see a range that is just pivoting from different spots, then I really take into account my micro trends and any of the trend channels I can find overall. So you could buy there, and that one worked pretty decent. And since we were below and now we've moved above and we've made a move past the previous swing, Let's give that its micro trend. And like I said, with range markets, you're oftentimes going to get a micro trend down, and it doesn't really break out and retest, and then you're just going to get another trend the other way, and that's a good sign that you really are in some sort of ranging market when those micro trends aren't getting the break and the reversal. They're just going one way down, then the next way up. Once you start seeing that happen twice or three times, that's a good sign that you're actually in a ranging market. So, but here soon we're gonna get a this trade right here. So off this low, we tried to go lower once, and now we've tried to go lower twice. When prices break above this doji, I like that trade. I like that trade. And that's not even aggressive. That's a pretty strong fundamental trade. So let's give that just a regular buy, a blue. And of course, you're going to have your scalp target, and then maybe put your next targets up here by these highs. And you get the scalp, no problem. At this point, you've kind of broken out, so I'm being a little careful. And we're back at what is this high line. See how that's almost like perfectly a reversal bar. See how that bar is just right there. So not going short because we still have all this upward momentum, but just be cautious. It kind of comes back for some of it and gives you a nice green bar off of the EMA. It's just the first entry to the high after a breakout, so let's just wait and see what happens. And another inside bar, so yeah, today is just a very indecisive and rangy day. The market can't really get going in any direction. That's not a perfect line, but y'all know the gist. So right there, that's your new congestion area. So if you can get a buy off this low line, let's take that buy. Oh, look at that. That's a buy. It's still a first entry though, but it's kind of two legs back. I would say you can go long there. It's a little risky, but it never breaks above. So if you were trying to go long there, you would have needed it to break above, and it never did. So you're doing good. And now it does here, but that signal bar is not that good. It's just a big momentum bull bar. So let's wait, see if we get a pullback. We get a pullback there, and that thing reverses. So true to form when we talk about ranges, a little bit of a breakout, move to a new high. We're above the EMA, and now we're below the EMA here. Let's do this line from there, just because it's the breakout of our congestion and the pullback. So let's see how that line works with the price action. You can see off these lows, you're kind of getting bounces off the lows there too. So it's not a terrible line. Just to give you a perspective of what the day is looking like. It's kind of what our day is looking like so far. So you can tell, we're slowly moving higher, but it's just big moves in each direction. And the signal bars so far haven't been that great either. Interesting thing to note there is that see how we're off our trend line? This trend line is still holding, and that's the new high, first entry, second entry. This is a pretty good signal bar, to be honest. Let's see if this holds, and we'll take a long there. And be ready to scalp out around this line because we do have a micro trend, so we don't want to be too aggressive ignoring this micro trend, especially on a rangy day like this. But we have a bigger channel in play. this bigger channel in play might actually give you a better trade. So I'd say it's aggressive, but let's see if that holds. And you get your scalp. Um, it's difficult because we have this micro trend, so we want to see a break and a move to a new low. But let's just watch how it responds from here. And if it keeps going higher than this point, which it looked like it's about to, right? So this is where we started our micro trend. If it breaks above that point before retesting, then this micro trend is going to be invalidated. And it actually didn't, not yet at least. Gives us another higher low, but this bar is inside of this bar, which is inside of that bar. Be careful going long there. Kind of reverses. So that's what I mean by like just a range kind of day, and just being very careful on a day like today, because I would extend this now because we've gotten 2 bounces off this area. All right, so we got 2 bounces off this area, but we haven't quite come all the way back down. See, we haven't came all the way back down in a while, and we're still making higher lows. So just need to be careful. And then you get the break above. So this is the higher low off this low. And it's the same concept though. Now that we've made it above this line, if we get a failed second entry short, then we're going to invalidate this because we still haven't tested our lows. Or if we break above this area, we're going to invalidate this micro trend. And we did there. We broke above. Something interesting happened there as well. So let's take that off, right, because it's kind of played out. And then replace it with a line. I think this line will basically serve your purpose. But another thing to look at is that off this low we moved up, came lower once, moved up, and then this bar broke below and then closed on its very highs. You would want to buy 1 tick back right in there. I would take a long right there. It's a little aggressive given that we have this overall range, but that's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for a breakout of these 2 highs to see if it comes back to test this upper side of our channel. So I would go long on that green bar, engulfing bar, pretty strong. And it actually pulls back and then gives you what you need for your scalp. And this thing is moving higher. Okay. It's moving higher. We can just extend it so we can have a target on the upper side. See how this price action is just like literally right in the middle of our channel. I mean, it's a challenging day to find good trades. I accidentally scrolled a little too far, but a challenging day to find good trades. So just need to be patient. We're still looking for it to kind of come test these highs, pretty much. But let's see if we get a second entry long or a play off of this trend line or something like that. Just kind of stacking up, just kind of ugly. Okay, it broke above, reversed. That's a good sign. And then we get this green bar right there. This is a second entry long, but this bar is an inside bar. This green bar is inside. So I'm going to wait. And on the doji, it breaks above, but It's not that great. Doji's not that great of a signal bar. So we just have to let that one go. Then here's our high or low. We have a matching bottom there. High or low, but we're so close to this line now, we need to be extra careful trying to get long. Here's your failed second entry, but like I said, we're literally a point away, so you wouldn't really have enough room to scalp out. It's just kind of aggressive. The risk to reward on trading up here, it's really not worth it. So I would just wait, and it would have failed. So you would have taken that one and it would have failed on you. Now you get a little bit of a reversal. This is a big green bar. So if you're looking at this channel, right, we broke out. We're looking for the retest of the highs. This is a big, strong bar, a second entry long, but this bar is so big that the risk is pretty high. If you can get in on a limit order, then maybe you'd want to take that, but I wouldn't get in at a limit order at the highs or on a stop. For sure not on a stop. It's just way too big. But let's put that there. And to give us some more visuals, let's get a midline in there, see where that midline is showing up on our chart. It's kind of coming in. Yeah, see how that midline is probably more like here. It's bouncing right off that midline. So that's pretty good. But like I said, on that, you really want to get in with a limit order. I wouldn't buy it at the highs. Put it a couple ticks back, maybe a couple right there. And you see how it broke above, then it looks like it's going to reverse. And you notice how this bar inside of this bar, which is inside of this bar. So that's congestion again. I mean, there's been like 7 congestion areas today. Depending on how strong you are in your bias bullish, I would put my target to break even or break even plus 1 just to mitigate some of the risk on this trade, or just leave your trade where it is, where your stop goes down here and your target goes up here, and just wait to see which one it hits first. That's looking, see all that congestion? That's looking nasty. By now I probably would just exit, just find a new entry when I see one, but this is pretty nasty. And then it starts to move higher, and this is probably where I would re-enter, because off this low, it came lower once, came lower twice, and it reversed. This is a breakout pullback from our little congestion area. So I would like to go long right there and just ride it up to the highs. Hopefully it comes over to our line at some point. But I'm a little bit more comfortable with, I'm more comfortable with this trade than I actually am with this trade. Smaller bar, it's a reversal pattern. We have this trend and we broke out. Now we're finally starting to work higher. I'll even give that a blue. That's a pretty textbook trade. That one works out pretty well. It's about it's 11. So about an hour left on the day. You see there's a lot of price action today. It's just not that many easy entries, right? Because of this initial range and all the congestion along the way. You know, there were some good moves, but just the entries were, they were challenging. There were definitely some challenging entries. Up here, it's too close to up here to really want to take anything. Starting to get that congestion, that doji, the doji, this bar. So that's kind of a congestion right there. Broke out above. Let's see. So off this high, right? First entry long, not a great signal bar, so let's wait. Then right here you get second entry long, right? But this bar inside of this bar, which inside of this bar, it's a little aggressive. if you really, really must take this, it's technically a second entry, so let's see if it works. But that's technically in our system. I'll just be really mindful because it's kind of a congestion, and it's hard to tell. I mean, hopefully this would have broken below first and then reversed, but you might have gotten stopped out if it broke above, then reversed, then came back. That might have been a little bit of a, and that's just the thing with trading these congestion areas. You're expecting it to break out high, break out low, break out high, but generally, if you and it didn't actually work on the bigger picture, but more times than not, if you trade up into congestion, you're probably going to continue higher. Um, and that works on the big picture and that works on the small picture. I think today it was a little worked out actually a little different. But so that's a trade you possibly would want to take. That one worked out pretty well. And finally, we got a touch on this higher side. That we had it over here. Finally got that touch. So that's good. But now for sure the buying, it's 12 o'clock anyway. So I'd be done for the day. Today would be, today was kind of challenging, not gonna lie. Um, so I'm in no rush to take any trades after 12, but that's probably the last trade I would have seen. That's kind of worth taking. But really, a lot of these are long trades, and that's just how the price action works. When the market is up, you're going to see that most of these are actually longs, even though it's kind of noisy. Your longs were the better places to take trades, except this aggressive one early in the morning, which really didn't really go very far. Um, Everything else was up. So there you have it. Today was challenging. They're not always going to be like this, but some days they will be. And when you have the range that is bouncing at different places, um, use your micro trends to help keep you on the right side of the market. Those are going to help a lot, especially when the range is turning at different places every time. So not much more I can say on that today. Um, yeah, just study days like this, right? Because these are the days where it's easier to lose a lot of money because you just keep forcing it. Like forcing it up in here because you think it's going to turn, and doing the same thing here. So study a day like today, and you'll be able to recognize them sooner and make better decisions, or just skip days like today and wait for markets that are a little easier to trade. All right, until next time, I will see y'all later.